Hi, Jemma. Thank you for joining me. I'm Stephanie Kakris, and for those of you who don't know me, I'm a coach and a mentor and an author, and I love to see people to reach their full potential in whatever area and aspect of life they feel like they want to achieve in. And it's the same with kids. And personally, I have two sensitive kids. My son is 15 and my daughter is 11. And I have turned to energy healing when all else has failed in terms of helping them to feel settled, helping them with anxiety, helping with them all sorts of things. And I have the beautiful Jemma here, who is an energy healer and loves working with children and parents and families. And you'll have to apologise if you can hear the aeroplane noises overhead. I did start this interview in my office, but the internet wasn't working there, so I had to quickly move out onto my back veranda. So welcome, Jemma, and thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me. It's exciting to be here.
So hello to all those people who are watching live. It's really nice to see you. So could you talk a little bit about energy healing from your perspective, Jemma, because it's a very wide, broad term. But to me, basically what it means is that to me, everything is energy, and energy healing is where we set a really strong intention and, we can heal things energetically. So anyway, I'll let you speak and describe it yourself, and then I'll put in my sort of interpretation, and because we all use different language for these things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's spot on. Like energy healing or energy in general is so different to so many people. And for me personally, I agree with you. Everything is energy, from the words we speak to the physical things that we have in our homes and in our lives. So for me, energy healing really is about connecting with another person's subconscious, I guess. So to be able to link into those areas, and it can be via distance, and it's holding that intention to help that person for their highest good. And when we do that, we can use all of this energy that we have and we hold in our bodies to connect with that person's energy. So for me, energy healing really is about tapping into that part of another person that they can't necessarily tap into themselves, or that they're just not really aware of yet. And that's where I find all those great little goodies that I can help that person with, because subconsciously we hold on to so much stuff from the minute we're born right until now. We've held on to all of these emotional memories, and in the subconscious is where that healing really needs to happen to then affect anything else in between, whether that's the mental body, the physical body, and all those sorts of things as well. So it's a multifaceted thing, I think. Yeah. And so that's how I sort of work with it and how I see it.
Yeah. And that's how I love to describe my work too, because in order in my opinion, in order for true healing, we need to honor and work with all the different layers that we have. So we have our bodies, we have our emotions, we have all our thoughts and all our brain mental stuff. We have all our past, our past sort of memories in this lifetime and conditioning and everything. But we also bring in with us emotions and traumas and things from past lives. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. So when I work with a person, and I had a recent client who's a prime example where I really get shown a picture of, what we need to do and where this healing needs to go. And quite often there is links to past lives, and I'll see that in multiple different ways. But for someone like my recent client, she had something generational. So it's been, past life generational as well as family generational. So for me to be able to go in and help shift and heal something that happened, possibly centuries ago, it's really fascinating. So I can really, and for me personally, I experience what that person would have experienced. So I I tune in a physical sense and an emotional sense. So I'm literally there. I'll cry if I need to cry, because that's what they were doing at the time. So for me, it's this whole embodiment of what's going on, and that can be, back in war days, it can be back in, experiences that I've never had, in my physical body, feeling that now. So it's fascinating for me to be able to see into all those sorts of areas as well, and help heal things that we just carry, because until those patterns are healed and broken, they're just going to keep playing out in new and different ways in this lifetime. So it's really important to come to this place where, if that's what we're here for, because this particular person was here in this lifetime to heal those generational patterns. And so all of these events that have happened in her current life have led her to me to go, okay, we need to clear all of this stuff for you to move forward in a different way. And you're healing it for you and your family as well. So it's pretty amazing when I can work with a mother who then affects that in her children. That's a really big part that I absolutely love about it.
Yes. So I'm happy for us to talk a little bit about the session you did for me last week. So I asked Jemma to do an energy clearing for me, because I've had a lot of fatigue. I've experienced a lot of fatigue in my life, and mostly after I was about 19 or 20 was sort of when I started to really struggle with energy and anxiety and gut issues and all that kind of thing. But I've never actually, my whole life, my schooling life, actually, I probably slept really well. But my mum talks to me, I was a terrible sleeper as a baby and toddler, and until I started school. And then I was a terrible sleeper after I finished school. And it's been really prominent in the last couple of years, where I'm often awake 2 or 3 hours during the night. I wake up feeling exhausted every morning, and I never feel like I can get into a deep sleep. And in order to fall asleep, I need to have some kind of a radio playing, or some music, or some meditation, or something like that, just to help my brain wind down. And so I said to Jemma, I feel like there's a past life thing. And straight away, she just got goosebumps from head to toe, and she got a vision. So do you want to talk about what you saw?
Yeah, definitely. So it was really interesting, as all healers do, we evolve as we go. So just me talking to Steph, and obviously we have a bit of a relationship going. So it was just instantly bang, like in this scene of, in wartime, we're just sitting here, and she's really concerned about somebody coming in and taking her family. And it was just fascinating to that instant moment that I could just connect in and see all that. So then when I went back in later and did the actual healing, it was just to be able to see, what was happening in that moment, and this fear that Steph had from this past life experience, where literally, I don't know whether it was the Nazis or somebody was coming in to take people's family in the night because they wanted them to join the war. So Steph was on this high alert all the time. So the minute she heard one little footstep, one little creak, one little anything, she was awake. So I was experiencing that. And even now I've got goosebumps head to toe just rethinking about it, because it's fascinating for me. I just love that part of it, to be able to see, what happened in another life. It's really cool. And for me to then be able to go, okay, so let's just put some healing into this space. So then I can go into that, subconscious memory and really put in the healing and the light and the love and the safety. And I think that was something that Steph really needed, was to feel safe in her own home and in her own bed, because if you're on high alert all the time, you're in fight and flight mode, you just can't get into that sleep. And that's where I think, everything just accumulated from. So when I healed into that, coming back into now current life, I could see the mismatch and what was happening. And after I'd done some healing in the past life, I healed in the current life, went back to the past life just to see how it felt. And it was totally shifted. It was totally different. So I don't know how much of that you've processed yet, Steph, but it was certainly pretty amazing what was going on.
One of the things that came up in the healing was, there was a lot of solar plexus chakra stuff. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the chakra system, it's a very ancient system where we've got 7 main sort of energy centers in our bodies, from our crown down to the base chakra, which is at the bottom of our spine. And the solar plexus chakra is just above the belly button, and it's the pleasure center. And it was something that had been closed off due to this trauma in this past life. And so a lot of the healing that Jemma did was around clearing that. And do you want to talk about how you bring in your guides and the angels to help you?
Yeah, sure. So what I tend to work with is I have my own archangel that I always call upon. And it's ever evolving. So someone might pop in, and I specifically tune in and work with archangels, source or creator energy, unconditional love energy, and violet flame. So they're the 4 main things that I call in a healing. And everybody has their own kind of spirit team that they'll work with. Some of them are angels, some of them are past family members or whatever from this life or past lives. So everyone has their own team. I specifically tune in and work with archangels because they're always for our highest good. So they're here to help in an unconditional love kind of way. So I choose to tune in and call in those angels first. And then occasionally other people will pop in, or new archangels that I haven't met before will kind of pop in, and I'll just ask them what they're there for and how they're going to help. And we really just have this whole team working together. I have a specific Ray team, I call them, that work with me and work with my clients. So they're specific to me. So by using those energies, I really find that it supports the healing so much more. So I can ask, say, for example, Archangel Michael is really amazing for cutting ties. So he will come in and I'll ask him to bring his sword to come and cut through the cords that are attaching someone to past lives or to situations or emotionally attached to someone else. So I can use archangels to really come in and just add that extra layer of power, I think, to my healing session. So I'm just calling them in. So first of all, I'm connecting in to Mother Earth. I'm connecting into the Creator's love energy, and then I just call in whoever needs to be there as well when I first start.
And is it distressing for you, like when you really feel into what, it's a pretty traumatic event, having, experiencing someone whose, family might be stolen by the Nazis or by the enemy, like.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And it's honestly not, because I feel this from my perspective, I'm not even the facilitator necessarily. I'm the witness to this healing. So I just ask for this to happen, and I watch it happen. So I don't have to be there holding my hands on somebody. Like, I've done Reiki and I do like Reiki, and I love it for opening people up in person. But I don't necessarily, energy doesn't come out of my hands as such. Like, it's through my intention that I can do these healings. And by using those archangels with all of their high vibrational energy, they're doing a lot of the heavy lifting for me. So I'm the witness. And yes, whilst I'll see some things that I really wish I didn't have to see, but I can step back from that. So although I'm experiencing it, and I will literally cry, and I will literally have my heart racing and feeling pain in my knee when someone's had knee pain, I'm literally feeling that, but it gives me a really, really good sense to know, okay, what is this energy? Let's look at what this is. So it's really just a message for me. So I've been able to really just see this as me not in that situation. Like, I can really differentiate myself from being the healer and the witness to being that person. So that's really helped me in that regard.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So if someone were to book a healing with you, what would it look like? So where are you located? So you're in northern Tasmania?
Yeah, so I'm in northwest Tassie, in a beautiful little place called Penguin.
I love it.
And So basically, if anyone wants to book in with me, I will do like this. We'll do a quick video call just to really tune into the energy and really for me to understand whether there's something specific that you need, because I can either do sessions based on someone coming to me saying, right, I have this problem like you with your sleep, I really need to look at my sleep. Whereas somebody else might come in and go, I'm not really sure what I need. I just feel lost. I just don't know what I'm doing. My kids are driving me nuts or whatever it is, and I just can't move past this. So it can be, whatever. So I can tune into that specific issue, or I can tune into just your person and just see what needs to be done right now. Most of the time I'll still get, even if it's a specific issue, a little bit of something else that needs to kind of come in, because there are links, there are circles that are cycles that are playing out together, and links with emotions and mental and all that sort of stuff. So I definitely get into all that as well. But basically, sort of like a 15-minute chat around, what you need, what you think you might need. It might not be exactly what you need, but we'll have a bit of a chat so I can tune in and
prompted them to reach out to you. Yeah.
What was that? Sorry.
So what's prompted them to reach out to you?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then?
And at the end, so basically then what we'll do is I'll either go off and do the healing straight away, or I will do it later. So sometimes there needs to be a little bit of an exchange of energy, or I need to be in a slightly different space to be able to perform that healing. So that's where the distance healings are really great. But within 24 hours of that call, the healing will be sent, and it'll be sent with a recording of the healing and some quick notes about what we went through and what we did. So that's sort of the best way to kind of get the best of both worlds. If you want to listen to the thing, the whole situation, the whole what's going on, then you can, or you can just read the snippets of what we've been through. So
yeah, beautiful. Yeah. And can you talk a little bit about your own children and your experience about them coming into your world, and do you feel like they were the catalyst for your gifts opening up?
Yeah, for sure. So my girls, so I have my eldest is 5 now, and she was really the reason I went, okay, we need to do something, because she was born, and we all are born very, very open, and we're very spiritually connected when we're young, and she didn't have that part of her closed off, because we didn't ever judge her for who she was and what she was saying, what she was doing. So one day she would just say these random things to me about past, like it was like past life things, or things she was worried about, or this, that she basically, when it really kicked me to do something was when she kept telling me that the dark people kept coming in the night. And I was like, right. And then she wouldn't sleep very well. So she's a very, very, very sensitive child. And I'm blessed that she's come and really shown me the path to, I needed to understand what was going on for myself so I could help her. So that really kickstarted everything for me. And once we started talking about these dark people and this man sitting on the couch that she would tell me about, I started to be a bit curious and started to really go, okay, is there someone here? And sort of without knowing really what I was doing, kind of just going, does someone need to tell me something? And then one night I remember vividly just laying in bed with them because they couldn't go to sleep, and all of a sudden I had this image of this old lady walking in the room, and holy moly, what was that? What's going on here? So that really did prompt me to go, okay, I need to learn not only for my own good, but for their good as well. So now that I've done that, and it's just been this evolution, and it's opened quite naturally, and I've done a couple of courses, I've had a mentor and all those sorts of things, just to get the basics, because I think everybody's healing is different. Everybody does it in a different way. Everybody receives messages and information in different ways. So I've just been on this journey of being curious about what is it that I can do, and why, what's the purpose in it all. So Miss Olivia really did kickstart that for me, and for me to be able to help her And even now in prep, she's full-time school and just some days not coping well. For me, just to be able to sit there with her, and we talk about her angels and we bring them in and we do a little healing. And my youngest is 3, almost 4, and she says, can you send me some purple love? Can you send me some green love? And so we just sit there and, you know, a bit of Reiki energy, a bit of healing energy. And just when they're not feeling good or feeling really distraught about something, I love that I can now just come in and really support them in that way, because it's just shifted a whole heap of stuff. Yeah. And even my daughter is a big example of, and I'll make this really quick, so I know there's lots to talk about, but so she wouldn't ever go to the toilet by herself. So she always had to have someone with her. And it used to drive us all insane. Like, you're old enough to go to the toilet by yourself. And she wouldn't go to the toilet in the nighttime, all those sorts of things. I did a healing on her and found out that in a past life, and she'd already told me about this past life, that there was a tsunami in her town while she was on the toilet, and she could see the people going under the water. Didn't occur to me that this was the reason she was not able to feel safe going to the toilet. Did a healing on it. Within 3 days, she was fully night trained. She was going to the toilet by herself, no problem. So I was just like mind blown in that moment of why didn't I do it sooner? But just the fact that I just was able to support her in that way was incredible.
Yeah, yeah. And what I'm finding from, hanging out in groups on Facebook primarily of parents with sensitive children and parents with star children, that more and more kids are being born in this age that are very spiritually aware and very sensitive and really of a higher vibration. And, that's what I found with my own kids for sure. They have this wisdom. And like when my son was born, even as a very young child, he was so hard to parent because he knew what he needed and wanted. And so it wasn't until I actually went and did a really amazing parenting course called Parent Effectiveness Training, which was really about working with the child rather than being a parent, sort of being in partnership with the child, and allowing them to, like, basically what I do with him, and he's 15 now, it was the same when he was 3, is basically I give him the options and tell him the consequences of both as the way I see it, and then let him choose. And 99% of the time he would choose the right thing. And if he didn't, he would learn, or I would learn, you know what I mean? Because what I thought might have been the right choice might not have been the right choice. And so, and my kids have just had so many challenges, and I've continuously taken them to kinesiologists and energy healers, because I know that their emotions and their sensitivity needs energy work rather than, like, I have taken them both. Well, especially my youngest, she went and saw a psychologist for a few sessions, and that really helped. But I find that there's only so much they can do. Like, yes, psychologists are great, and if they're really good with kids, they can really help with coping strategies, etc. And all the stuff that I've learned over the last 15 years is what I've put into my parenting oracle cards to help parents. But I feel like that's going to obviously be a really great resource for them. But if they're still having issues with their kids, then I really highly, strongly encourage them to go and get some energy healing as well. So if people want to reach out to you, how can they do that?
So you can either go to my Facebook page, which is The Nurtured Life with Jemma Wheatley, and we might put a link in the comments or something for that, or my website, so thenurturedlife.com.au, and you can book straight in through there, or you can email me. All the details are on the website or on my Facebook. So feel free to reach out if you've got questions. That's the best way to get to me. Yeah, awesome. Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about that we haven't covered? I don't think so. I feel like that's pretty much it. Work, actually something I do I'm really passionate about, and every time I say it I get goosebumps, is that energy healing for me, so the people I work with are generally mums or parents and their children. And something I just want to say quickly on that is we parent best when we're at our best. And by doing these healing sessions for ourselves, we're really passing on that healing to our kids, because that's something that I've personally found, that when we're in a good place, we come from so much love. Whereas if we're constantly feeling like we're in battle with our kids, it's because we're in battle with ourselves. So by opening up and being here and honouring that space that we need healing is really, really powerful. So I just want to say that, because I know it's not easy to always reach out to someone for a healing, especially if it's something that's brand new to you. And just being in that space of, I honour anybody who comes forward to heal for themselves and for their family, because that's ultimately what we're doing. By healing ourselves, we're healing our family as well. So I just love that part of it, and to be able to help more than just one person at the same time is pretty amazing.
Yeah, and I probably didn't mention that, along the way, I have engaged energy healers for my kids, but I've especially engaged a lot of energy healers for myself, because I do recognize that the buck stops with me. Like, if I can break these ancestral patterns that have been passed down, you touched on it about, we do have trauma from past lives, but we also have trauma from our ancestors. And it's been scientifically proven that we hold the stress in our DNA from many, many generations back. So even if you don't have, any experience with people in war or in depression or anything, you can go way, way back. There's always medieval times, and there's always this stuff. And for some reason in this current lifetime and in this time, I think the Earth's vibration is rising, and we're all being called to really clear this stuff so that we can move into the next age where we are more full of love, and we are less trapped in our emotions and, struggling and just going from one, awful experience to another, and with mental health and all that kind of stuff as well. So yeah, it's a really beautiful point. And you also can work with animals. Is that something that because I did engage you to work with my cat, and you went, oh, that's different, but everything's energy, so I'll have a go. Is that something that you want to do, or was it something you just did for me because I asked you?
It's something it was very interesting and it intrigued me a lot. So, if anybody, I'm open to that. If somebody's got issues with their pet, then everything's energy, and I'm happy to work with that.
And because the pet's a part of our family unit, like, I feel like he was only mirroring like what was going on, the dynamics of the home anyway. So whenever you heal one member of the home, the ripple effect's gonna be for everyone. So yeah,
absolutely
awesome. So thank you so much for joining me today. The Facebook Live, I don't think it actually ended up working, but I've recorded this, so I'm going to pop it onto my YouTube channel, and then I can pop it into my Facebook page, and you can share it on yours and all that kind of thing. And thanks for coming and joining me and sharing about your wisdom and understanding of energy healing. And I'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. See ya. Bye.